Hey, Clay Nation, Mr. Olanik here. Today we're going to be going over Big Ideas 3.2, adding and subtracting linear expressions. But first, a story for you. This is from a great book that I loved reading to my kids and growing up, The Sneetches by Dr. Seuss. Here we go, The Sneetches. Now the star-belly Sneetches had bellies with stars. The plain-belly Sneetches had none upon theirs. Those stars weren't so big, they were really so small, you might think such a thing wouldn't matter at all. But because they had stars, all the star-belly Sneetches would brag, we're the best kind of Sneetch on the beaches. With their snoots in the air, they would sniff and they'd snort. We'll have nothing to do with the plain-belly sort. And whenever they met some, when they were out walking, they'd hike right on past them without even talking. When the star-belly children went out to play ball, could a plain belly get in the game? Not at all. You could only play if you had bellies, had stars, and the plain-belly children had none upon theirs. When the star-belly Sneetches had Frankfurter roast, or picnics or parties, or marshmallow toast, they never invited the plain-belly Sneetches. They left them out in the cold and the dark on the beaches. They kept them away, never let them come near, and that's how they treated them year after year. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Mr. Olanik, why are you giving us a literacy lesson in the middle of a math class? Because that lesson has everything to do with what we're doing today and what Mr. Hess showed you the other day when we were combining like terms. So if we have a 3x, and let's say a -7, and a plus a 2x, and plus 5, and we'll say minus x, and we'll just say plus 20 right there. So what we need to do is we need to see who's going to play with who. It's just like the Sneetches. There's a separation going on. We have two distinct groups. We have the group of a 3x and a positive 2x and a negative x, and all of that, they're going to all play together. And then we're going to have a -7 and a positive 5 and a positive 20, and they're going to all be together in one group. So we have two distinct separate groups. So the first group, 3x plus a 2x minus x. When we combine that, that's 5x minus x. That's going to be 4x. And then the other ones, we have a -7 combined with a positive 5 is a -2. And then we're going to be adding 20 to -2. So that's going to give us a positive 18. So our final answer, when we combine all of these like terms, we get 4x plus 18. When we combine all of those terms together, just like the Sneetches, the groups were separate. All right, so what does that look like in mathematics? So let's go ahead and add these two expressions together. First, we're going to do the distributive property. So we're going to do 2 times the -7.5z, and that is going to give us a -15z. Then a 2 times a positive 3, that's going to give us a 6. Over here we have 5z minus 2. We'll write those out, 5z minus 2. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to combine our like terms. The z's are only going to play with the z's. So that -15z will combine with a positive 5z. So -15z plus 5z. That is going to give us a -10z. Well, let's see who else we have. We do have a positive 6 here, and we have a -2, and those two are going to get together. So a positive 6 and a -2, that is going to give us a positive 4. So we have a -10z and a positive 4. So our final answer, -10z plus 4. When we add those two terms together. All right, there's an example. Now I want you to try it. Go ahead and pause your video and come up with this correct expression. All right, let's see how you did. All right, so 4 minus n, we'll just go ahead and rewrite that. Oh, distributive property. So 2 times a negative 5n, that's going to give us a negative 10n. And then a 2 times a positive 3, that's going to give us 6. Do you see which terms we're combining here? We have a negative n and a negative 10n. So if we have minus 1n minus 10, that's going to give us negative 11n. And then we also have a positive 4 with combined with a positive 6. So 4 plus 6, that's going to end up giving us 10. If you came up with negative 11n plus 10, great job. All right, but not only can we add expressions together, we can also subtract expressions from one another. Now, sometimes this subtraction gets really, really tricky, so please pay close attention here. So remember we were talking about distributing a negative 1 to all of this? All we're going to do is we're going to do negative 1 times a negative x, and that's going to become positive, and then this positive 6 is going to become negative. So when we distribute a negative 1 to both of these, this becomes a positive x, but it also becomes a negative 6. So we have 5x plus 6 plus x minus 6. So take a look. Who's going to play with who? Hey, it's just like the star belly Sneetches and the plain belly Sneetches. These guys have stars. They're going to play together. They are going to exclude everybody else. It's only them. And that's going to give us a 6x. Then let's see who's left. Well, we got the plain bellies here. We got a positive 6 and a negative 6. Well, those actually cancel each other out. It's kind of silly to write 0 there. You don't need to write 6x plus 0. So we're going to get as a final answer. Our final answer ends up being 6x. 6x is our answer. Okay. Now, here's the next one. I want you to go ahead and pause the video and you try it. All right, welcome back, Clay Nation. Here we go. Let's see if your answer matches this. We're going to distribute this negative 1 to everything over here. So let's go ahead and write our first part. We have an m minus 3. We have a negative 1 times a negative m. That's going to give us a positive m. And a negative 1 times a positive 12. That is going to give us a negative 12. So here is our expression. Now we need to combine those like terms. So the m's are not going to want to play with those other loose numbers there. So the m, there's a positive m, there's a positive m. M plus m, that is going to go ahead and give us 2m. And let's see. Here are the numbers. We have a negative 3 combined with a negative 12. So negative 3 minus 12. Those two are going to combine, and that is going to give us a negative 15. If you got 2m minus 15, you subtracted those expressions correctly. Congratulations. If you have any other questions, please go ahead and ask your teacher.